Let's get the latest company news. And Kingfisher Mining has announced it's executed a binding heads of agreement with Black Cat Syndicate for the sale of 100% interest in their Boolaloo Project. They've also announced a new carbonatite target in Gascoyne in WA. For more now, we're joined by James Farrell, Chief Executive of Kingfisher Mining. James, welcome to Ausbiz. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning and good afternoon, Andrew. Nice to be speaking with you.
All right, let's first start with perhaps what you found just as far as the target in the, is it carbonatite? Just explain what that is.
Yeah, that's right. The geology we're looking for over here in the rare earth space is a carbonatite. So think critical minerals. So carbonatites are associated with all sorts of rare minerals. There's some very interesting things happening in the exploration space at the moment with carbonatites. Niobium is a mineral of particular interest associated with carbonatites. For us, we are interested in the light rare earths, neodymium and praseodymium, which are a really important ingredient in permanent magnets. So essentially the ingredient in a magnet that makes it strong and makes it permanent.
It's funny, we were just talking about critical minerals and their use in energy transition. What have you got in your portfolio where perhaps you're looking to develop? I know you're sort of seeking, you've done some acquisitions along the way as well. Perhaps what are the most promising elements you have in your portfolio at the moment?
That's right. So the Gascoyne still really is a hotspot for rare minerals or critical minerals exploration. So we have a couple of projects in the area. We've been working on our Mick Well area, which is an area where we've been progressively delineating very high grade neodymium, praseodymium rare earth elements over an area that's about 7 by 4 kilometres around what we believe to be 3 key carbonatite plugs. So these are the intrusion centres where these really deep intrusions of these magmas come up into the Earth's crust. And turning back to your question around our most recent announcement, so we've identified another one of these areas at LK1 target. So that's 30 kilometres to the west of our Mick Well area. And again, we're starting to see all of those same kind of aspects come out of LK1. So it's a journey to go through this, of course, to work up these discoveries. So across this year, we've been very busy on ground there with most recently a ground-based geochemical survey, which is really what supports very strongly the potential for this carbonatite mineralisation at that area, as well as airborne geophysics and things. So essentially, from our Mick Well discoveries, we've identified what we think are the really key fingerprints of this nature of mineralisation, and we've taken that knowledge and we've applied it more broadly across our Gascoyne tenure, and we're starting to see the rewards of that come through with another project area that's developing that looks very exciting for the discovery of those critical minerals.
And what's the potential, do you think, for the market in particular, given particularly the US looking to back, well, Australia included, sort of exploration and development of rare earth projects, given the dominance of China in this field?
That is the remaining question, I suppose. So this year has been a challenging year for rare earths, and at the same time we're seeing the key players in the space funding, co-funding. We're seeing governments actively involved in, I guess it's sort of breaking that monopoly in some ways. It's recognised, and we've seen the US working with companies like Lynas on a heavies plant in Texas, so the Department of Defence getting involved there for 100% support. So, it's a market where I think the West is focused on ensuring there is, long-term supply that we have some control over.
So to that other news where you're offloading the Boolaloo Project. So what's the strategy behind that?
That's really all about focusing on our rare earths aspect of the critical minerals. So that was another large project area that we had up there in the Ashburton. And we felt, looking at 2024 and our opportunities and the resources the company has, where we best deploy those resources for how we can build value for our shareholders. And it really is about critical minerals in the Gascoyne. So We felt that the copper and gold opportunities up there in the Ashburton part of Western Australia wasn't the fit we needed next year, and an opportunity came along for us to divest those assets, whilst retaining royalties on copper and gold production in the future, but as well as giving us exposure through our shareholding, once this deal's completed, in Black Cat, who are really a near-term producer up there through the gold operation they have, which looks to be coming into production relatively soon.
What lithium players do you have in hand at the moment?
With lithium, we've been working up an area that we call Chalby. So again, we've got a very large tenement holding in the Gascoyne, and there are lithium discoveries down there. So of course, Delta Lithium is only 40 k's away from where we're working at Chalby. And we took a look across our 1,000 square kilometres of ground, and we thought, well, what are the key aspects that we need to be forming lithium-bearing pegmatites? And we identified 3 areas that we thought, okay, this is pretty exciting. And one of those areas, Chalby, emerged pretty rapidly as something that's exciting. So the first steps were marking out the outcropping pegmatites on the ground, which we did. We reached 13 kilometres of strike of those pegmatites, and they're essentially occurring as stacked bodies. So, we're seeing lots of them, and we did see, grades up to 0.6% lithium from those pegmatites. So that's a highly encouraging start. To keep progressing it, we then went back through with a soil geochemistry survey, and that's really all about delineating the potential of the scale of this area of pegmatite intrusions. So that's what we did. We've now identified very large scale soil anomalies around these pegmatites. So really, it's setting up for drilling it in early next year. So it's about that methodical project workup, so we can put our best foot forward with drilling in 2024.
And James, you're talking about sort of adding shareholder value there. It has clearly been a difficult couple of years in the space, just as far as, particularly the small caps in the exploration space. Do you feel as though the tide is turning now?
Probably not quite yet, but I am seeing green shoots, that's for sure. So we know that we're stepping through what has been a difficult capital time for junior companies or junior exploration companies. And I do feel like we are starting to see investors return. It is still difficult, and I'm hoping for a strong start to 2024, really. And I'm sure that many of the others operating out there in that space share this feeling. Things are moving. The world's demand for the things that we're looking for, the critical metals, it's building. This work needs to be done. So as things move along, we're further into this cycle of downturn, and I think we'll be getting through the bottom hopefully pretty soon.